Hey guys, how's it going? How's everybody doing tonight? I'm cooking Chinese dinner tonight, and I thought what a perfect time to jump on and do another episode of Dinner and a Show. And it's actually kind of funny because I was going to initially go on live, but you know, real life happens, and here we are. It's late. My husband and I eat dinner really late. It's like 8:30 at night, but we don't even eat till 9:30 on the regular anyway. But here I was ready to make Chinese dinner, and guess what we're out of? Broccoli. So this is a perfect example of what you do when you're throwing a bunch of stuff together and how to make a delicious dinner that's healthy and very inexpensive. So I'm going to show you what we're going to be using tonight and kind of talk you through it and let you know of all the different substitutions and stuff you can do. So we're going to be making ours with shrimp. This is the shrimp that I buy. I buy this at Walmart. I'm lazy. This is peeled, deveined, tail on, colossal, already cleaned. This bag of shrimp runs between $10 and $12, and this bag is enough for my husband and I to have a huge dinner and probably a couple lunches or another dinner each. So for this, like $10 to $12, and this is pretty much the most expensive thing in the whole dinner, you're going to get a bunch of meals out of it. But if you don't like shrimp, that's totally fine. You guys, you can use chicken, you can use chicken tenders, you can use rotisserie chicken, you can use pork, you can use beef, whatever you want. But I'm going to be using this, and basically it's already cooked, it's already defrosted. You buy it frozen. I left it out to defrost. So now I'm just going to rinse it in a colander and take the tails off it. And then because it's already cooked, I throw it in at the very end just to heat it through. We're also going to be having rice. Normally, I don't do a lot of rice at nighttime, and usually what I do is I boil some rice up, and then I'll add it to the leftovers for when it becomes a lunch. But we're out of broccoli, so I was going to show you guys anyway. But this is the rice I use. It's Success. Again, I'm lazy. Boil in a bag. It comes with 4 bags in here. I'm going to boil 2 bags. And the reason I'm boiling 2 is because 1 bag I'm not even going to use for this recipe. I'm just going to boil it tonight and put it in a Tupperware so that we can have Mexican and another couple nights. And that way my rice is already taken care of, and I'm just going to add whatever I want to that. And then the other bag I'm going to incorporate with everything that we're making for the dinner and the other, tonight's dinner and the other meals. So I've got some water boiling right now. I'm just going to throw 2 bags of this in there, and then I'll show you what else we've got. Okay, so while the rice is boiling for the next 8 minutes or so, I'm just going to show you what else we're going to be using. And this is usually how my dinners go, guys. Usually I pick a protein in the morning. I just defrost it from the freezer, and then I just use all the vegetables that I've got in the house and kind of make up some kind of protein vegetable dinner. So what we're going to be using tonight is mushrooms. And I don't know if you saw my grocery haul, but these are from Sprouts. So I'm going to be using whole mushrooms. I'm going to be using a zucchini. I'm going to be using a red pepper. I'm going to be cutting up a yellow onion. I'm going to be tossing in some shredded carrots into the rice. And then for seasonings, you guys, I'm going to be using a little bit of liquid aminos. This is what I use to give you like that soy sauce, that teriyaki soy sauce flavoring. I'm going to use a couple splashes of this. I've got some ginger puree. You can use powdered ginger, fresh ginger, whatever you want, but whenever I think of Chinese food, I have to add ginger, so I'm going to add some of this. You guys, again, this is about what you have in the house, but I bought some honey garlic that I'd gotten at a local market, and I'm down to the very end here, so I'm going to add a spoonful of the honey garlic to the rice mixture. But you guys, you can add honey, you could add a little bit of stevia, you can add garlic, anything that you think of when you think of when you want Chinese food, those flavors, that's what you're going to be throwing in here. Now, part of the reason I'm not going live tonight also is because not only am I out of broccoli, but it's really late and I haven't even had a shower yet tonight, you guys. So a lot of times when I cook Chinese, I'm cooking everything on the stovetop. I'm cleaning the vegetables, I'm chopping the vegetables, and I'm just sauteing them in a big stove pot and then adding in the rice and adding in the shrimp at the end. But tonight, honestly, between the fact that I'm trying to stay away from oil, and I usually use a lot of oil when I'm sauteing vegetables on the stovetop, and I'm trying to peel back my fat grams, I'm watching my macros, I'm going to make all the vegetables sheet pan, and I'm going to throw them in the oven at 350 for half an hour after the rice is done, and I'm going to go take a shower, and then I'm going to come back and assemble it, and I'll show you guys how it all comes together. So right now, I've got the water boiling, I've got the rice in there, it's got about 3 more minutes, and now I'm just going to get these vegetables on the sheet pan. I already have my oven preheated to 350, and I'll show you how it all comes together. So I have a sheet pan here that I'm just going to spray with a little bit of olive oil, and then I'm just going to start to chop up the vegetables and throw them on the sheet pan and just toss it in the oven. And you guys, if you like Chinese, honestly, this couldn't be any easier. Any vegetables that you find that you like to eat when you order Chinese, beef and broccoli, string beans, green beans, zucchini, which I'm using, peppers, all of them are amazing. And you know what? You don't have to go crazy. It doesn't have to be super expensive. I mean, even the rice, which has four bags in there, is $2.50 for 4 bags, and I'm only using 1 bag, and I'm cooking another one, meal prepping for later in the week. As far as the peppers, I'm just cutting them into fat slices. I'm just cutting them into fat slices, and I'm just throwing them on the pan while we hang out and chat. And then I'm just going to be cleaning off the mushrooms and throwing them on. I'm just going to be chopping up the zucchini and throwing it on. And then literally spraying with a little bit of olive oil, putting some ginger, salt, pepper on the veggies, and throwing them into the oven for half an hour while I go shower. And then when I get out of the shower, I'm just going to take the rice, add all the roasted veggies to it. You'll see how it really comes out to be quite a bit. Add the shrimp at the end. Just kind of toss it on the stove for a couple minutes to heat up the shrimp. And even if you were to sit and saute the vegetables on the stovetop, which, like I said, that's usually what I do, is I just kind of stir fry everything. But I'm trying not to use so much oil, and I find that using the spray oil and roasting really does wonders for the flavor. And you use way, way less oil. Way less oil. So now I'm just cutting up the zucchini, and I'm just cutting it into circles and then cutting those in half and just throwing it right on the pan. The vegetables obviously were rinsed earlier. So it sounds like our rice is done. I'm just going to take it off the stove and throw it into a colander. Okay, so all I did was just take the rice off the stove. I poured everything into a colander. The 2 bags are just in the colander, and I'm just letting that kind of rest. And I will then use that same pot after I toss the water out. I'm going to use the same pot to put everything back in to assemble it all together and do the final heat through with the shrimp. That way you're only dirtying 1 cookie sheet, the pot, and 1 colander for this entire recipe, besides the bowls or the plates you're using to serve in. So it doesn't involve a lot of dishes. It doesn't even involve a frying pan when you do it this way. But again, this recipe is meant to show you that it doesn't take a lot of ingredients. It doesn't take a lot of expensive ingredients to throw something together that really tastes amazing. and looks pretty good too. So now I'm just cutting up the onion because there's nothing better than a roasted onion. I pretty much add onion to everything. So I'm just going to cut up the onion into big chunks and throw that on the pan. And the great thing about a lot of these vegetables, you guys, is they can be, I use them for Chinese, and I also use them for Italian. So, you know, you'll find that a lot of the same vegetables, even for Mexican, you know, a lot of the same vegetables can be used for several different types of cuisines. Because it's all in the spices, because I pretty much cook a lot of these things the same way. So I'm just cutting it into chunks. And I'm using one of the onion, one of the zucchini, one of the red pepper, but you can very easily use, you know, double, triple, quadruple this recipe. It doesn't take any more work than cutting up more of the ingredients. And you guys, I'll be honest with you, my husband works until 9 o'clock at night, Monday through Friday. This is Saturday, he gets off a little bit earlier, but I'm not cooking dinner until a good 8 o'clock, 8:30, sometimes even 9 o'clock at night. And after a whole day of working from home myself and working out and everything else, you know, I'm honestly too tired. You know, who's in the mood to do a complicated dinner? But when you can throw a bunch of veggies and a protein on a cookie sheet and have it come out great in a half an hour to 40 minutes, there's nothing faster than that. I don't even care. You know, drive-through, going to a drive-through, picking it up and bringing it back takes longer. And last but not least, we have the mushrooms. This is all the vegetables that are going to go into the oven. And I'm literally just wiping them with a damp paper towel to get the dirt off. And then just putting them on the cookie sheet. And I have a nice combination. I've got some baby Bellas and then the white ones. Okay, so here we go. I just took the brown rice out of the colander, snipped open the bag, and took one of the bags and dumped it back into the pot. The pot's on the stove. The stove's turned off. It's just waiting till everything's ready to be added. Here's our veggies that we cut up together. All I'm going to do with those is I'm going to spray them with some olive oil lightly. I'm going to top them with some Crazy Jane's, which is like one of my favorite like seasonals, and some garlic and herb. And this is just for the roasting process. So I'm just going to lightly sprinkle, and I'm going to throw this in the oven at 350 for half an hour. The carrots we're adding at the end to the rice, so I'm just going to hang on to these for a minute. And before I hit the shower, I'm just going to take the shrimp, I'm going to throw it in the colander, I'm going to take the tails off, I'm going to rinse it, I'm going to go hit the shower, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how everything comes together. It's so easy, I promise. Okay guys, I'm out of the shower and ready to assemble everything and show you what we got. The veggies have been roasting in the oven for a little over a half an hour at 350. They're totally done, so I'll show you what they look like. It smells amazing. And then all I have is I have the already cooked rice, I have the shrimp, which as you know was already cooked, and the shredded carrots. They're in the pan, they're in the saucepan, and I just have it on medium. And I'm just going to add all the seasonings. So I'm going to add about a tablespoon or so of the sesame oil. I'm going to add a splash of the liquid aminos. I'm going to add a big tablespoon of the honey garlic, some of the ginger puree, more of my famous Crazy Jane all seasoning, and some more of the garlic and herb. All this is going to be added into the rice with the shrimp and the shredded carrots. I'm just going to heat that through, and then I'm just going to add all the vegetables in and serve. So I will show you exactly what it looks like. It couldn't be easier, you guys. And it's so inexpensive. It's so healthy. There's so many ways you can be creative and play with this recipe. If you have questions, please let me know. And you know what? Show me what you make. You guys want to make it? Show me. So check me out on Instagram. Check me out on YouTube. Show me what you guys are making. All right? I'll talk to you soon. Bye.